Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Friday, November 5th. Happy Friday to you. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. And yes, we've made it to Friday. And yes, happy Friday. And happy birthday to Odell Beckham Jr. I think this is either the best birthday present ever or a really ultimate burn from the Cleveland Browns, because the Cleveland Browns released Odell Beckham Jr. today from his contract. This is after a lot of drama throughout the week. Now, we have just learned, or recently learned, that OBJ had quietly requested a trade after the loss on Sunday to the Pittsburgh Steelers 15-10, where he was only officially targeted one time for 6 yards. And the Browns apparently tried to make a deal, but could not make a deal. So today, General Manager Andrew Berry released this statement. He said, "After careful consideration, internal discussions, and conversations with Odell and his representation, we've determined it is in the best interest of all parties involved that Odell no longer play for the Cleveland Browns. We appreciate all his efforts and contributions while in Cleveland, but we've just reached a point where it is best that we move forward as a team without Odell. We are finalizing the process of granting Odell his release, and we wish him well as he continues his career." So now that he's been released, now that a trade wasn't done by the NFL trade deadline, which was on Tuesday, if a team doesn't claim his contract by Monday because he's going through the waivers process, he'll be a free agent and he can go anywhere. Anywhere. That means if he doesn't get picked up by another team by Monday, he could go to the Steelers or the Bengals or the Ravens. How gross would that be, especially after being released on his birthday? I don't think anybody wants to see that happen, because regardless of the lack of productivity here in Cleveland, I think people understand that Odell Beckham Jr. is a talented player. Head coach Kevin Stefanski's comments about it, he really hit him. He hit him with the dad move today. I mean, I don't think there's anything worse than this. He said, "It's disappointing." Ooh, dagger. "It's unfortunate how it all went down, but I wish him well." And when he's talking about how it went down, one thing that cannot be missed is the fact that Odell Beckham Sr., OBJ's dad, had posted a video on social media on Tuesday before the trade deadline showing Baker Mayfield missing throws to his son OBJ, causing a lot of conversation. You know, Baker Mayfield addressed that video. He said he wasn't hurt by it, but he was surprised. And he says, yes, he understands that Odell Beckham Sr. wants OBJ to succeed. Baker said he wants OBJ to succeed too. So in any case, the Browns and OBJ have decided not to move forward together. They will be splitting apart, and we will see where OBJ lands, but just let it not be in the AFC North. We don't need that kind of motivation for a player on the other side of the football. We definitely do not. But that does beg the question, how will the Browns replace Odell Beckham Jr.? There have been a lot of injuries this season at the wide receiver position. In fact, the Browns haven't played a single game with the full allotment of wide receivers healthy. So now OBJ is out of the picture. Donovan Peoples-Jones is likely returning from injury this weekend. Let's see what could possibly happen. 3 News sports analyst Ben Axelrod took a look at this. He says it's possible that Donovan Peoples-Jones really steps up. Actually, he's been the wide receiver on the roster with the most yards this season. So that could be a possibility there. Another possibility, Anthony Schwartz stepping up. The Browns drafted the guy who may have been the fastest player in the draft this year. That was in the 3rd round with Anthony Schwartz, and he has been doing some great things when he does get his hands on that football. So we'll see. Another possibility is that outside help could be brought in. One possibility there is someone like Deshaun Jackson. He's a possible option, a veteran, potentially at a minimum deal, although it could be tough, according to Ben Axelrod, to bring someone up to speed on the offense at this point in the season. You know, we are at the halfway point, so there is still half a season of football left to play, but half a season of football has already been played. Another possibility, there are 3 wide receivers on the practice squad, Jamarcus Bradley, Lawrence Cager, and JoJo Natson. Now, of those 3, Ben's analysis is that the most likely to be elevated would be Bradley. He was one of 4 players that the Browns protected this week from being signed away by another team. We'll see what happens, but now the Browns are looking ahead to play the Bengals on Sunday in Cincinnati. Big game for the Browns, really hoping to improve to 5-4, and with that, they would be really making a big move there in the AFC North, because the Bengals lost last week. So here's hoping for a win in Cincinnati for the Browns on Sunday. Now, turning to a very serious story out of Lorain County. In what is being called the first human trafficking investigation in the county's history, there has just been a 54-count indictment announced. This is by Lorain County Prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson. This is from a grand jury against 35-year-old Stephen Gilbert. Tomlinson said it's believed that there are as many as 9 victims connected to this case. Gilbert has been charged with human trafficking, racketeering, compelling and promoting prostitution, rape, kidnapping, sexual battery, aggravated robbery, and money laundering. Tomlinson said that during this investigation, his office seized $21,000, 3 Mercedes-Benz, and 3 bank accounts. Today, on the national stage, Colin Powell's family and friends gathered to pay tribute to him in Washington, D.C. This was at the Washington National Cathedral. Colin Powell passing away just last month, the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and also the first black Secretary of State. Some who were in attendance at the remembrance: former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama, former Secretary of States James Baker, Condoleezza Rice, and Hillary Clinton, former Defense Secretary Robert Gates, and current chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Army General Mark Milley. There were also other service chiefs there. The U.S. Army Brass Quintet played several songs, including Dancing Queen by ABBA. That was a favorite of Colin Powell. And as Powell's wife, Alma, and other family members were seated, they played a hymn called Mansions of the Lord. President Joe Biden was there, but not scheduled to speak. 2 recent presidents did not attend: Bill Clinton, who was recovering from an infection, and Donald Trump, who Powell had criticized. Colin Powell died on October 18th of complications from COVID-19. He was 84 years old. Now, he was vaccinated against COVID-19, but his family said he had an immune system that had been compromised by multiple myeloma. That's a blood cancer, and he had been undergoing treatment for that. We give you the latest COVID-19 numbers each day. Those not yet out. When we do have those for you, those will be up on WKYC.com, so make sure you check for that. There is a new vaccine mandate that will be coming into effect. That's on January 4th. The Biden administration's sweeping new mandate. It will apply to 84 million workers at midsize and large companies. These rules announced yesterday. And under these rules, which are a temporary emergency standard from Occupational Safety and Health Administration, private companies with 100 or more employees will have to require their employees to be vaccinated against COVID or be tested weekly for COVID-19 and wear masks while on the job. Now, a separate rule will require workers at healthcare facilities, that includes long-term care facilities and hospitals that receive federal Medicare and Medicaid payments, to be vaccinated. So if you're getting that federal money in a healthcare role, you will have to be vaccinated. But doctors' offices with less than 100 employees will be exempt because they don't fall under the center's health and safety regulations. Employers will have to give workers paid time off to get vaccinated and to recover from any side effects. That's a big one there. Vaccinations will be paid for by the federal government, as they have been, but employees may have to pay for their own COVID-19 testing if they opt not to get vaccinated. The federal government says these rules supersede any state laws that conflict with the standards. However, several states with Republican governors have said that they do plan to challenge these regulations in court, calling them an unconstitutional power grab by the federal government. Right now, confirmed viral cases and deaths have dropped since the start of the year in the U.S., but they are dangerously high. That's according to the experts, especially in some areas and some particular industries. Average case numbers right now have leveled off at about 70,000 new COVID infections across the U.S. per day, and confirmed deaths at more than 1,200 per day. Now, as we continue to see the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Cleveland Guardians, which is how we are officially referring to the baseball team here in Cleveland since the World Series is over and we're looking to the next season now, they're canceling their Fan Fest again for the 2nd year in a row. It was previously called Tribe Fest under the old baseball name, so now it's just being referred to generally as Fan Fest, and this is because of COVID-19 concerns. The team said that as we looked forward to the event this offseason, the uncertainty of COVID and the related safety protocols limiting player interaction with fans and media added additional risk to the success of the event. After careful consideration, the decision was made to cancel the event this offseason. So in place of this, the Guardians say they are pursuing hosting a virtual event. That'll be before the start of the 2022 regular season. We will have more details on that as soon as they become available. We'll bring them to you, of course, on all of our shows, as well as WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now, if you remember last year, a lot of stores were closed on Thanksgiving because of COVID-19. Well, this year, some stores that had previously been open, they're keeping that. They're just saying they're going to stay closed. Some of those include Target and Walmart. Those are big ones to know because a lot of people will tend to run there for their last-minute groceries. Others that will be closed on Thanksgiving: Aldi is one, Publix, TJ Maxx, Trader Joe's, And Petco is one as well. So if you need any last minute pet supplies on Thanksgiving, you're going to have to wait or order it online or order in advance or try somewhere else, because those places will not be open. If you want to see that full list, you can go to WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now, as we look toward the holiday season and we see people traveling around, going out and getting different places, you might notice that the gas prices are high. And usually the gas prices are lower this time of year, because what happens is the blend of gasoline switches. It's usually a less expensive blend over this time. It usually drops actually in the fall, 5 to 10 cents a gallon, but that's not what we're seeing. The reason that prices are going up right now, well, demand is up because people are hitting the road again, as they do feel more free to travel when they get vaccinated against COVID, and some of those restrictions have been lifted. Also though, high natural gas prices in Europe. They've got facilities switching over to a relatively cheaper alternative oil, plus supply not keeping up. The U.S. is producing less oil now than it did before the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's all adding up, and it's costing drivers more at the gas pump. One more thing to let you know before we go here. If you're a Bruce Springsteen fan, this story is for you. You will have a chance to join rock photographer Janet McCoska and writer Peter Chikarian for the presentation of their new book. The book is called Bruce Springsteen, Live in the Heartland. That's happening on Friday, November 12th, so 1 week from today. They have gotten photos of Bruce Springsteen at dozens of concerts around the Northeast Ohio area between 1974 and 2016. We're talking about the Richfield Coliseum, Municipal Stadium, what used to be called Quicken Loans Arena, which is now Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, just to name a few. So this will be a book signing event on November 12th. McCoska will give a glimpse of never-before-seen photos of Bruce Springsteen, and Chikarian will share behind-the-scenes stories about the rock legend and the E Street Band. This is happening at the Night Stage, which is next to the Akron Civic Theater. It's at 7:30 p.m. Books will be available there for signing. You can get free tickets at akroncivic.com, but if you do get that ticket, then they have an idea of how many people are going to be there. It's just good for planning. So akroncivic.com for those free tickets. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Friday, November 5th. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday, hopefully, fingers crossed, a victory Monday with more 3 News Now.